మా డైలీ వీడియోస్ మిస్ అవ్వద్దంటే ఇక్కడ ఉన్న బెల్ ఐకాన్ని ప్రెస్ చేయండి.
శ్రీ విద్యాసాగర్ కొల్లి సత్యనారాయణ, the Secretary of All India Lawyers Union, Telangana State Committee, eminent trade union leaders and activists, Sri Rama Babu, Subramaniam, Harish Babu, Clement Sevi Das, Veeraya Kunduri, and of course Bathukamma. My dear activists, lawyers and trade union leaders, dear friends. First of all, I have to congratulate the Telangana State Committee of AILU for organizing this sort of function. A subject of seminal importance, a subject of current debate in mainstream media and all financial circles, but not known to or very much known to the common man who are very much affected adversely. That is the tragedy of the era. The actually affected person, the common man, they are not aware of the gravity of the situation. So in that environment, to take up this subject for a debate is to be congratulated. Though of course the participation of the common people or the representative of the common people here is not satisfactory. Of course that we can improve later. Dear friends, every legal problem or every legal piece as statute, it is addressing a political issue. That's why we say all legal issues are political issues, nothing more, nothing less. Though we put in legal jargon, sophisticated words, phrases and all that, and of course making a lucrative area for lawyers. Every legal issues, every statute is pakka political problem, pakka political issue. Each new statute, each new law used to address new and new arising political problem. So also we know the capitalist world, throughout the world, have been suffering from severe crisis. And now and then, the government in office, their own representative have been making ad hoc mechanism to address the situation. The salient features of all these unsuccessful attempts is all these mechanism, project, schemes, etc. So all these unsuccessful mechanisms, schemes and plans to address this sort of capitalist crisis the salient feature is all these schemes are at the expense of common man, common people, not at the expense of the so-called protectors of this financial enterprise, the capitalists. So, let us examine this new piece of legislation in the light of this important issue. President Vidyasagar now referred to demonetization. It was a measure to save or to augment the corporation, the financial corporations in India, the big capitalists in India, at the expense of the common man. By introducing the demonetization, the corporates, the financial corporates in India, which are augmented by the government in office, have got full control of your money, the money of the common man. The demonetization does not affect the big financial corporations, the big capitalists. At the expense of the common man, by giving control over the common man's small accounts, by denying the right to withdraw that amount, you have got pakka control over the line. Now, the second jolt is coming in the form of this new legal piece, that is Financial Resolution and Deposit Insurance Bill 2017. There is crisis in the capitalist system. There is crisis in the banking industry. There is pakka looters in the banking industry, interested only in looting the money of the people. There are such other financial institutions, and all the more, one of the root cause for this financial crisis of the bank is mounting NPA. The mounting NPA is larger than the niti, larger than the planned fund. There is no planning now. It is now called Niti Aayog. So such a huge NPA more than the India government's budgetary allotment, government is not concerned at all. At one point of time, government introduced new recovery procedures by way of special courts, recovery tribunals. Subsequently, they came with another piece of legislation, for the new Surface Act, and of course, I am a panel lawyer for State Bank of India for quite a long time. See, this half-hearted approach to recover the NPA, even after promulgation of this act, That's the FRDI Act, and before the Recovery Act. The government has not shown sufficient interest in providing infrastructure for such tribunals. They are not prepared to grant sufficient manpower, and ultimately the recovery is lesser than the recovery we could manage through proper ordinary civil courts. That is experience. So if you are interested in protecting the banking industry and protecting the Indian economy, the first course you have to adopt is to find a mechanism to recover the NPA. You are not prepared to do that. In this circumstance, now you are introducing a new machinery to protect the banking industry at the cost of the people, common people. That's the basic issue. See, the salient features of this act, the proposed bill, I think you know the situation, the present status of the bill. Bill was once introduced in the Lok Sabha, then it was referred to Joint Parliamentary Committee, and it was in the news that it would be placed, tabled in the current session of the winter session of the Parliament. But day before yesterday, I am told that tabling is deferred. So that doesn't mean anything. At any moment they can introduce the bill for consideration with the Parliament, and if they go sufficient vote, definitely they will get vote to be passed. And I am told that Joint Parliamentary Committee's report is not out, it is not reported so far. So that is the present status of the bill. That apart. So the salient features of this bill is to provide a resolution corporation. By introducing that resolution corporation, the Reserve Bank of India is losing the predominant control over the bank. In the matter of dealing with sinking of faulty banks will be with this resolution corporation. And resolution corporation is a representative of Reserve Bank of India, SEBI, and all other regulators, insurance regulatory body, and all that, with the two independent members. So they will decide the method and machinery to be adopted for saving or liquidating this erring faulty bank. Is well and good if they are successful in redeeming that sinking bank, is well and good. If the government is sincere in their effort, is well and good. If the bankers are sincere in cooperating in that effort, is well and good. There is no harm. It would definitely augment our financial system. The problem is not that. The problem is that at whose expense they are doing this sort of activity. That is a big issue. On scrutinizing the various provisions of this act, the proposed bill, three aspects are very important. One is section 52. They have circulated a small brochure on this aspect, quoting this section 52 and 53. You may go through that, so I need not refer to all these provisions of section 52. It's a very, very long provision. The gist of that provision is that, or the provisions is that, you can make scheme, plan for resolution or dissolution of the bank or other financial institutions. Well and good. The singing band can approach the authority with a plan. Well and good. The problem is that this resolution corporation can take a decision as to utilization of the common man's account. There is a provision under section 52 to utilize your money. And what is our money? Common man's money is not that as money. It will be a small money deposited for the marriage of her daughter, his daughter. The life saving, the pension amount he obtained, that will be the deposit. Such small amounts in our deposits can be put under the absolute arbitrary control of this resolution corporation. They can decide as to in what manner we have to deal with this money. You have no control. That means we, the depositors, have no control over that account after the intervention. They can decide, they can reduce the interest offered at the time of depositing the money. Not only that, they can change the nature of the deposit. If my account is a savings account only and I got some money, they can make it a fixed term deposit against my wish with a lock-up long period. So that much period they are getting absolute control over the money. So issues that entire money can be put under the control, and ultimately under their control means the control of the capitalist, monopoly capitalist working in India. That is the crux. Not only that, they can even decide reduce the liability of the bank or financial institutions. To reduce the liability means they can declare that, of course, Rajan deposited 5 lakhs rupees, bank will not pay, bank should not pay 5 lakhs on demand. If at all it is a matured FD, no, bank need not pay that much. Bank need pay only 2 lakh rupees in the given circumstances as full and complete satisfaction of the rights liability towards that depositor. That is the crucial aspect. The point is not every now and then they do or not, that's a different thing. They are given that much power. So in a given case, they can declare that though I deposited 5 lakhs rupees with the bank, concerned bank, the liability of the banker to accept my claim and disburse that 5 lakhs on demand is nowhere. There it is only up to 2 lakh rupees or 1 lakh rupees. Or in a harsh situation, harsh case, they can say that no, the liability is totally wiped off. They can declare that. So in what situation is a different aspect. Whether there is power or not, that is the issue. They have got power now. Power is given by this provision. And another important aspect is that we are aware of deposit insurance. As per the current existing Reserve Bank of India rules, our accounts are insured, though for a small amount, up to 1 lakh is insured. But at the passing of this bill as an act, that insurance will be wiped off. Insurance would be there, of course, they decide what shall be the insurance will be there. Not under this act. The existing act of insurance will go. They will decide what insurance should be there in the under the present what we call financial FRDI Act bill. So the concept of insurance under the existing law will not be available. So that is also under the discussion. And third aspect is that there is section 53. All what I said about section 52 with respect to our liability, our right and bankers' liability is now made applicable to securities. The resolution commission, corporation can alter the nature of the security. They can introduce, demand new securities. So, regarding securities also, enormous arbitrary power is given to this resolution corporation. Okay. Ultimately, very crucial aspect I have noticed is all ad hoc comments because subject to correction from our informed trade union activists and leaders, because I am referring to because that is not seen in newspapers and this objection around that. See, now as per the present existing company law, on winding up the companies, on liquidation of the companies, whether it's a banking company or otherwise, it's a company. There is a scheme for payment towards the liability of the company. The first priority is workers' use. As per the existing company law, the first priority for payment regarding the liability towards the company, that means take the case of banking company, use towards the workers' use. But this new bill says for the liquidation and winding up of the erring banks and financial institutions, the general law of liquidation winding up available under the Companies Act will not be applicable. The priority regarding payment available under the existing company law will not be applicable. The entire workers' dues will not get priority. It will get priority rank number 3 only, that too only for 24 months dues immediately prior to taking action. So that first priority towards entire workers' dues goes. You get priority only for 24 months dues. That's a big issue. Big issue to be taken up by the trade union. Under section 80 of the present bill clearly states that you won't get that first priority for payment. But that is in the existing company after amendment of various provisions by the what the name, that insolvency code. Even after in 2013, drastic amendments are made in the company law by the introduction of insolvency code. Even after that, that is not touched under the banking, whether it's a banking company or otherwise. Definitely the first priority is there. That also will be wiped off by the invention of this bill. So, ultimately the crux is to intervene to save the capital crisis at the expense of the common man. At the expense of the common man means at the expense of small depositors and the majority of employees of the banking industry. Not all employees of the banking industry will be coming under the category of workers. The majority of them would come, and at the cost of this majority of the employees who are workers, they are taking the measures to save the so-called erring banks and financial institutions. One other aspect is that who will decide whether this bank is or that financial institution is sinking? That decision will be taken by this resolution corporation. In implementing these provisions, necessarily we know there will be very concerted lobbying, and the bankers themselves may make use of the provision for their protection, despite the fact that it is not entrapped in such a crisis. They can open their capital, working capital, with your own, our own small deposits. For that, they can approach the corporation with a scheme or plan, and in the given situation, with the use of lobbying and of course even bribing, they can decide, sanction, scheme or plan, despite the fact that on objective consideration there is no such situation. So these are the salient features of this bill, and these three aspects are at the cost of common man and the working force of banking industry. If these aspects are not made known to general public, definitely it will be taken as a positive measure to save Indian economy. That is the other side of this. Definitely. If we are not successful in spreading this correct objective idea as to the content and the motive of this bill, the people may think otherwise. They say that no, how we are concerned, our deposit will be protected. And of course, the day before yesterday, I have seen the press statement by Finance Minister Jaitley. What will be the report of the Joint Parliamentary Committee? We will protect the interest of the depositors. How? Unless and until the section 52 is modified in that manner, in such a manner, definitely will not be able to protect the interest of the account holders. So he is not committed to that we will delete such provisions from section 52. They are not. He is not. In such a situation, necessarily, it is an attempt to save the bankers and to loot the common man. So, in that effort, definitely lawyers have got an important duty, and we have to discharge the duty and responsibility towards society by taking up this sort of debates and discussion to the public. So definitely in that effort, I once again congratulate this Telangana State Committee of the INU. Thank you.